But there are probably other people who you would describe as independent, long-time career prosecutor. Why did you pick, this is probably the most high-profile special counsel investigation, maybe in American history. You're going to be investigating a former president, a candidate for president, and leading in all the polls, and you pick Jack Smith, most important selection maybe ever made.
A clash of titans, Jordan versus Garland. The hearing room crackled with tension. Representative Jim Jordan, known for his fiery demeanor, squared off against Attorney General Merrick Garland. At stake, the legitimacy of the investigation into former President Donald Trump. Garland had appointed Jack Smith as special counsel, a move that ignited a firestorm of controversy. Jordan, a staunch Trump ally, was ready to challenge Garland's judgment. The heart of the matter was the appointment of Jack Smith. Smith, a seasoned prosecutor, carried baggage from past cases. Jordan believed this baggage made Smith unfit to investigate Trump. He saw Smith as a partisan actor, a tool of the Democrats. Garland, however, was prepared to defend his choice. He saw Smith as a man of integrity, a prosecutor who would follow the evidence wherever it led. The hearing room became a battleground of ideologies. Jordan, with his booming voice and sharp questions, represented the skepticism of many Americans. They questioned the fairness of the justice system, especially when it came to Trump. Garland, calm and measured, embodied the ideal of impartial justice. He argued that no one, not even a former president, was above the law. The clash between Jordan and Garland was more than just a political showdown. It was a microcosm of the deep divisions within American society. Trust in institutions, particularly the justice system, had eroded. The hearing laid bare these divisions for all to see. It was a stark reminder of the challenges facing American democracy. Representative Jordan came armed with a litany of concerns about Jack Smith. He questioned Smith's impartiality, pointing to his past cases as evidence. One case involved the prosecution of former Virginia Governor Bob McDonnell, a Republican. The Supreme Court overturned that conviction, raising questions about Smith's judgment. Jordan argued that Smith had a history of pursuing politically motivated...
Thank you. I yield back.
Gentleman yields back. Mr. Garland, why Jack Smith? Why'd you pick him?
Well, I've said at the time I appointed Mr. Smith, I explained he was independent. He was a longtime career prosecutor.
But there are probably other people who you would describe as independent, long-time career prosecutor. Why did you pick, this is probably the most high-profile special counsel investigation, maybe in American history. You're going to be investigating a former president, a candidate for president, and leading in all the polls, and you pick Jack Smith, most important selection maybe ever made from Attorney General when you come to a special counsel. I just want to know why you could have picked former AGs, deputy AGs, U.S. attorneys. You got all kinds of lawyers in this town, but you picked Jack Smith.
All the people you just mentioned would be political appointees. I appointed somebody who was not a political appointee, somebody who was independent, nonpartisan, with a record of career experience as a prosecutor. That seemed to me the perfect resume for making that kind of...
He was a guy, worked, had to bring him back from Europe. He worked at the ICC, worked at the World Court. He was the best pick for the most high-profile investigation ever?
He was independent. He was nonpartisan. He had never held a political office. He was never appointed in a political office.
Was he your first choice?
He had a long career as a career prosecutor.
Was he your first choice?
I'm not going to go into the questions.
Did you know him before you picked him?
I did not.
You never worked with him?
I did not.
Did you meet with him prior to announcing his selection and tell him what was going on?
Of course I did.
What happened in that meeting?
I met with him. I asked him if he would be willing to do this. We talked about my understandings of the role of this office, which are on the public record. That's all.
Did he ask for the job?
This is not a job I don't think anybody asks for. I'm sorry.
No, but that's not the question I asked you. I said, did Jack Smith ask for the job?
He did not ask me for the job, no.
Did he convey through someone else that he wanted the job?
I would be surprised if that were the case, but
you don't know?
No, I don't know.
So he may have?
Point of contention was Smith's alleged involvement in the IRS targeting scandal. During the Obama administration, the IRS had come under fire for scrutinizing conservative groups. Jordan claimed that Smith had discussed prosecuting these groups, showing a clear bias against conservatives. He painted a picture of Smith as a partisan warrior, eager to target the political enemies of the Democrats. Perhaps the most explosive allegation involved evidence tampering. Jordan accused Smith's team of manipulating documents seized from Mar-a-Lago, Trump's Florida residence. He claimed that these manipulations were part of a broader effort to frame the former president. The evidence, Jordan argued, was being twisted to fit a predetermined narrative. Jordan's relentless questioning painted a damning portrait of Jack Smith. He portrayed Smith as a biased actor, more interested in pursuing a political vendetta than upholding the law. His accusations resonated with those who already harbored doubts about the fairness of the justice system. The allegations, if true, threatened to undermine the legitimacy of the entire investigation. Attorney General Garland, facing a barrage of accusations, remained unflappable. He defended Jack Smith's qualifications and integrity with unwavering conviction. Garland emphasized Smith's long and distinguished career as a prosecutor. He had a reputation for being tough but fair, a man who followed the evidence wherever it led, regardless of political affiliation. Garland pushed back on the notion that Smith was a partisan actor. He pointed out that Smith had prosecuted both Democrats and Republicans during his time as a U.S. attorney. Garland argued that Smith's record demonstrated his commitment to upholding the law, not advancing a political agenda. He dismissed the allegations of bias as baseless and political.
I can only tell you what I know. I chose him because he had a record of impartial career experience as a prosecutor. That's why he was chosen.
Was it impartial when he went after Governor McDonnell?
He was a member of the...
It was after Governor McDonnell. That case gets appealed to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court unanimously said it was wrong and overturns the conviction?
He was in the public integrity section of the Justice Department, a career position. They made the decisions they thought were warranted, and we respect the decision of the Supreme Court.
Did the fact that he was interested in going after the very people who were targeted by the IRS about a decade ago, did that have any influence on your selection? Okay, let's put up this slide here. This is from Jack Smith to some other folks in the Justice Department, and it says, could we ever charge a conspiracy to violate laws of the U.S. for misuse of such nonprofits to get around existing campaign finance laws? Jack Smith was looking to prosecute the very people who were targeted by the Obama IRS.
I don't know. You have excerpts from an email I've never seen. You should know that
IRS Commissioner Sarah, I'm just asking, did this weigh into your decision? Did you know about this?
No,
what Jack Smith was trying to do?
I also don't know if it's true now.
IRS Commissioner Sarah Ingram oversees this from Jack Smith himself. Let's discuss tomorrow, but maybe we should try to set up a meeting this week. And here's the response. Here's the response. You didn't get your meeting with Miss Ingram from the IRS, but she's sending the head of the exempt organizations, Lois Lerner, who's known to us. So Jack Smith meeting with Lois Lerner, looking for ways to prosecute the very people who were victims of the Obama IRS. And I'm just asking, did that factor in your...
Politically motivated. Regarding the evidence tampering accusations, Garland stated that these were matters for the courts to decide. He emphasized that the Justice Department operated under a strict code of ethics. Any allegations of misconduct were taken seriously and investigated thoroughly. He expressed confidence that the courts would ultimately determine the veracity of the claims. Garland's defense of Smith was firm and resolute. He presented a starkly different picture of the special counsel, one of a dedicated public servant committed to upholding the rule of law. He argued that the accusations against Smith were unfounded and part of a broader effort to discredit the investigation into Trump. His words sought to reassure the public that the Justice Department remained an impartial arbiter of justice.
Factor in your decision to name Jack Smith as special counsel?
I didn't have any idea about the things.
Didn't know about that?
No, and I don't know whether they're true now by looking at this.
Well, they're definitely true, but you didn't know about it. But this guy was so important, you have to bring him from Europe back here to go after President Trump, name him as a special counsel. Do you regret the pick?
I'm sorry,
Do you regret picking him?
No, I do not regret picking him.
Well, prosecutors aren't supposed to tamper with evidence, and it looks like that's what he did. He changed the sequence of the documents that he seized from Mar-a-Lago.
I'm sorry, that's a false characterization, but that is ongoing.
Here's what he said to the court, Mr. Attorney General. There are some boxes where the order of items within the box is not the same as in the associated scans. I mean, he said it. I didn't say it. He told the court that.
Now you're asking me to comment on a discovery dispute that's ongoing in a court. I don't know the facts of it, and I'm not going to comment on it.
No, this is from Jack Smith filing with the court. He admitted to the court that they tampered with the evidence. He mishandled the very documents he's charging President Trump with mishandling. And I'm just asking, do you regret picking this guy as the special counsel in the most important special counsel investigation probably in American history?
I'm sorry, I did not hear the words tamper in the statement that Mr. Smith filed. He did not use those words.
Well, let me ask it this way. Are you supposed to change the order of the documents that you seize and the physical documents don't match up with the scanned documents? Are you supposed to do that as a prosecutor?
This is a matter in dispute, in discovery, in that court, and I'm going to leave it for the district court to make a determination. After
I would just say one last thing. It's not in dispute. This is what he said in the court filing. Jack Smith's team said that to the judge in the court. By the way, this case is now basically on hold because they've screwed up so many things.
Again, I don't know whether your description of the facts are true or not true, and I'm not going to intrude in a decision in a district court.
Chair recognizes the gentleman from California.
Mr. Attorney General.
Jack Smith, while serious, remained just that, accusations. The evidence tampering claims were still being litigated, and no concrete proof of wrongdoing had emerged. The hearing, however, exposed the deep partisan divide surrounding the investigation into Trump. The cloud of suspicion cast by Jordan's allegations lingered. The hearing served as a reminder that perceptions of fairness and impartiality are crucial to the integrity of the justice system. Whether Smith could ultimately conduct a thorough and impartial investigation remained to be seen. The outcome of his investigation would likely be scrutinized and debated long after its conclusion. One thing was certain: the battle over the legitimacy of the investigation was far from over. The hearing was just one chapter in a much larger saga. It highlighted the challenges of conducting sensitive investigations in a hyper-partisan environment.